Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Heredia. I'm one of the practice managers here at Medi Weight Loss Clinics in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. Welcome to my first video where I teach you how to make Medi recipes. I've heard several patients sometimes say it's complicated, it's hard, or it just doesn't come out like it should as we present it in the clinic. So this is why I'm here to help you get through that journey on your own. So today we'll be making our Nacho Mac and Cheese bites. It's a great recipe that I always like to use when I'm hosting a party or a little event for an appetizer. It is made out of our Nacho Mac and Cheese. This actually is only 140 calories with 12 grams of protein per one packet. So even just having this alone for a snack at work would be great to have. I always double up to do a meal replacement because it's really good and I like 2 servings of it. But let's get into it and I'll show you how to make it. So before actually starting this recipe, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. That way we can go ahead and get it moving. Alright, so first what we're going to start out with is 2 ounces of ground turkey. I like ground turkey better than ground beef because ground beef just is too greasy, has too much fat in it, and heavy in calories. So ground turkey is the way to go for me. So what we're going to go ahead and do is throw this in the skillet with a little salt and pepper and brown it up. Alright, so first what I like to do is I like to put my pan, or my heat actually, on medium-high heat. Don't want to go any too further, it just gets a little too, it gets really too fast and brown. But you also want to do a little pan spray. Just don't like anything sticking on my pots or pans in this house. So next what I'm going to do is go ahead and toss in my 2 ounces of ground turkey in here. And then I do a little salt. And a little bit of pepper. And we're just going to go ahead and stir that in here and keep flipping until it gets brown. So while your ground turkey is browning up in the pan, what we're going to go ahead and do is get our Nacho Mac and Cheese. So it's going to call for 1 packet of our Nacho Mac and Cheese. And make sure you shake all the contents out. We don't want nothing wasted. And then I always like to use my blender cup because it has the measurements on the side. It does call for 4 to 5 ounces of water. I do about in the half. I do 4.5 ounces. That kind of gives it enough liquid to cook on. And then once you get that in there, we're going to stir it up. And we're just going to stir this up just a little bit. Keep browning it. Make sure it comes out nice and good. Alright, so now that I got it properly mixed in, it does say heat for 1 minute in the microwave. Come out and stir and repeat that process. From the years that I made this, it's too tedious, so I do like to put it in for 2 to 3 minutes, but I do like to put it in a good sized mixing bowl, because if you put it in a small bowl, it will overfill. What I do like to do is, like I said, I'll put it in the microwave for 2 minutes, pull it out, put it back in for 2 minutes, but once it starts to get a little bit solidified, if you would, the main goal is just to make sure those noodles are noodle-like. Right, so we got our ground turkey here all browned up, just still waiting for that Nacho Mac and Cheese in the microwave, and we're going to get to mixing here. Alright, so now our Nacho Mac and Cheese is finally out of the microwave. You can tell there's no fluid in there. It should be all solidified, but no excess water or moisture, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and add in our ground turkey that we just browned up and cooked. You want to get that a good little stir in here. Alright, next it does call for 1/3 cup of finely sharp cheddar cheese. So make sure we get a little 1/3 in here. And we'll add a little bit more for measure here. I'm just a little lover of cheese, so make sure you take that into account. And we're going to go ahead and mix that in with the mac and cheese and the ground turkey. Now this recipe does call for a little green onion, so I do have my green onion here. I'm a little picky about mine. I always chop the top part off. That doesn't look like it's quite healthy enough or good. It's just not aesthetically pleasing for me, honestly. So we're going to go ahead and take 2 stems, is what the recipe calls for. And of course you want to cut the biggest stem part off first. And then I just like to go and do small, fine little chops of it. Now you do it as you see, but I do like to have mine small and short. Just mixes better and also cooks better. And then once we're done dicing this up here, we're going to go ahead and put 1 egg into the mixture itself so we can pop it in the oven and bake it. Alrighty. And then 1 good old egg here. Don't do that part. And we're just going to go ahead and mix it in. So once you're done, your mixer should probably be mixed just like this. Alright, let's go ahead and get the cupcake and the cupcake tin and cupcake liners, and let's go ahead and get it started. So I know this recipe calls for a mini cupcake tin, however I didn't have one, but I always like to make mine a little bit bigger. So we are looking at this with the old recipe. It makes 12 bites and 2 of those bites are 70 calories. But since I went ahead and kind of doubled it up a little bit, I'm going to be using 140 calories per nacho bite. That makes 4. So let's go ahead and put it in here and we'll just get it going. And I do like to press it down a little bit, not too firmly, but I do just like to press it down a little bit so we can get that proper shape. And of course, like I said, I went ahead and made this with normal cupcake holders, but generally you would use the mini cupcake holder. But like I said, I didn't have that today, so I improvised. But once again, each bite, this one will make 4, and each bite will be 140 calories. So you can actually have 2 for a meal and still be good to go. And then, like I said, we're going to pop this in the oven here. You should have your oven preheated to 350. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and pop this in the oven and let it cook for a little bit, and I'll show you the after effects. Got my cupcake liners already filled out. We're going to pop it in the oven for 350 like I said, and we're going to do it for 15 minutes, but I always like to keep an eye on my things in the oven. So I always like to go and check at about the 12-13 minute range, just to make sure nothing's getting burned or browned. And I like to put it on the top right because I like a little crispiness on the top. So pop that in there for 15 minutes and we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, just got everything out of the oven. Now I do remind you, I went ahead and cooled this down for about 5 to 10 minutes before I put them on my plate. No one wants to burn their fingers. These came out absolutely amazing. I do like to finish it off with a little light sour cream, a dollop if you would, a dollop, and a little cheddar cheese on top just because I am a cheese lover like I said earlier. But these are amazing to have. Meal prep, so you can have them at lunch or dinner if you work in a late shift, or you can actually make these for appetizers when people come over so you can actually stay on plan. But like I said, this is amazing, came out amazing. So if you like to see more recipes, I do have some coming in the future, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button at the bottom. And like I said, if you have any questions or you need help, definitely hit me up in the comments and I'll respond to you. But once again, these are our nacho cheese bites, and I hope you enjoyed this video.